know, I know. Look, my car broke down and do not give up my spot.
Uber for Devin?
Yeah.
Sorry, no tramps or trannies. Especially not both.
Twixx, it's really obviously from the moment it comes on, this is the start of a really bad night. And this night is going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. I loved her red dress. I thought that, she looked gorgeous. Trying to go to this performance and, is forced to converse with this homeless man who will not let her be. But this homeless man turns into this unlikely hero. And so what I took from this is kind of how we view the homeless in this society as this nuisance. It's their fault that they're in this predicament. It must be their laziness, or why couldn't they do what I did? And I mean, if you really ask homeless people, which I'm sure no one does, how you got into the situation, I'm sure that they were outstanding individuals within our community at one point, and then it takes a certain turn. And I think we've all been to the point where one or two wrong turns can lead us right into that same predicament. And she really did not want to embrace him at all, but he was unwilling to let her rudeness affect him. He really had such a pure spirit that at some point it's going to come out, and he ends up being her hero inevitably. If not for him, there were several times where the day could have been even worse. And I think once we get to the end where they finally do have their performance together and it all works out, the message to me is your hero could come in the most unlikely shape. And, as Twixx, there's moments where she is sexualized, and there's moments where she's disregarded. If you think about the bus driver and the guy on the bus, and that's probably her constant experience. And what I think her pride was not allowing her to realize is that you are very close to where he is. If you don't get your tips tonight, what's going to happen to you? And, I think that's why we disregard the homeless in the way we do, because no one wants to really admit that we're really scared to become them.
I thought this one was a really strong piece, really well thought out. Just a nice, if not a bit troubling, slice of life. Felt real, felt very authentic. On the artistic side, great costume, great just framing all the shots, the lighting, the way it was all used, felt gritty, felt very much on the street. All in all, just a really good film with a keen filmmaking sensibility about it and a really strong story. So hats off to everyone involved.
What a heartwarming ending for this one. I think the standout performance was definitely Chester. I called him Boombox Guy in the beginning until I learned his name, so if I accidentally say that, that's who I'm referencing. But he gave me such Ted Danson vibes in the best of ways, in his looks and the way he speaks. Something that comes with that is feeling immediate comfort. So right away, he was already a comfort character. But that was also through his own acting, not just because he looks like Ted Danson. But I think the ultimate message here is not to let judgment cloud our vision of people. And it's so easy to do, even if we face judgment every single day and we are not allowed in Uber cars and people are touching us on buses, we'll still turn to the homeless person and judge them. Even when they're the only ones accepting us. So it's really important to not let the things happen to you, to not do those to others.
Just like the candy, Twixx was such a sweet short. I really loved the dynamic between Twixx and the homeless man. It made me a little sad to see how cold they were in the beginning. Especially because of how they were immediately discriminated by the first person they saw. and to turn around and have someone who was openly friendly. Well, again, stranger danger, but not only were they openly friendly, but supportive in what they did. I really enjoyed seeing Twixx warm up to the homeless person, and I think Twixx definitely learned their lesson when they got fired, but then saw how everyone was happy and excited to see Chester, realizing he really wasn't that bad of a guy. They had assumed about Chester, just like how a lot of people had been assuming Twixx, for who they are as people, and seeing them pair up together to do their own show at the end, that was one of the sweetest credit scenes I've ever seen. And I think that was one of the favorite parts of this short. It was very feel good, and I enjoyed it.
I thought this film was so sweet and also so surprising about this like really unsuspecting pair. I loved how the two main characters came together at the end, and I think you balanced a really serious subject and a really relevant subject with kindness and grace. I think there was also there was an element of fun that came at the end and an element of like togetherness and friendship. I feel like this short was like a start of something bigger, of like a feature film. I think it has a lot of potential.
There was a great lead performance that I think really anchored the whole film, and the filmmakers were able to base this story around that character and around that performance. Also a really good use of lighting throughout this one. The city feels very distinct. The outdoor environments are very attention-grabbing and good at holding your attention once they have it through some of these lighting choices. The film was very well paced. There was a sense of urgency throughout the whole thing, and the stakes and conflict were clear from the very first scene. And you know what you're getting into right from the start. It sticks with that, and it does a good job of making that stay fresh and not overstay its welcome or feel old. So I thought that this one was quite good as well.
Twixx was a really interesting story. I think, it covered kind of a heavy topic of, how we perceive others and how we treat them, and the maltreatment of others based on, appearance or sexuality or income or any of it, and how that reflects in the way we treat them and or don't treat them, and how that affects us in our space and our relationships as well. And it culminates in this lovely pair getting together despite what they look like or how they've been treated. And it's just a really lovely story, and it's a really lovely message at the end of it. And seeing this couple together at the end, it makes it worth it, this build up, and these not the best moments getting there, but it has a great payoff at the end, and it was beautifully shot. The actors did a great job. They made the story incredibly welcoming, incredibly warm, and really easy to watch, and you just wanted the best for them. And with a story like this, that's really all you can ask for. So I gotta really commend you for that and say really, really well done.